I'm a little late on my morning video, and I don't have my tripod, so my camera is kind of, propped up against a book. I'm going to do a series on 1 year a widow, since I'm approaching my 1 year of widowhood, and it did cause me a financial crisis in semi-retirement. Retirement, I don't know what you want to call it. I'm disabled and I could not hold a regular labor job, and labor is all I know how to do. I can't type. My arthritic fingers would never allow it. I have carpal trouble. There's just issues. So I think this video is geared more to the 50 to 70 crowd, female probably, maybe male. I don't know what your situation is, but I've wrote a bunch of ideas down on my, right on wipe off board, and I am not going to redo this one. Sorry about the slide off. So the first thing that I looked at for myself was losing my breadwinner. That was big because he was 100% of the income in the family. And his income had gone down drastically over the previous 5 years for reasons I won't get into here, because I want to try to stay on point. I've been watching videos of how to do better retention span, and so one of them is to stay on point. So the first thing I have here is I made an inventory of my assets, both, to my credit, and that was draining me of funds, I guess you'd call debit. And the house was an asset because it was paid in full. And the 2 cars were not, because one was in a lease and one I owed money on, and I had just refinanced that off of a lease. I had a lot of credit card debt. I was trying to sustain us and keep us going without touching our savings. So I was using credit cards to buy food and whatever Dennis needed medically during his decline. So, accounts. What have you got for cash? Income. Do you have any income? Valuables. Do you have anything that in an emergency could be sold, from jewelry to paintings to furniture that maybe you don't need anymore, extras that might have been just sitting in the attic or basement, maybe even antiques and valuables that have some value. Do a very thorough inventory. That's what I did of everything I had. Pensions, we didn't have any, and our life insurance had expired May 2016, just as his decline was steady. And I had to be honest when Fidelity Life called me and said, do you want to renew? And I said, absolutely, but here's the situation. And it was going to cost us $500, I think, and $25 a month to insure him. So that was not doable. Valuables, pensions, Social Security. If you're 60 or over, if you have small children under 16, or if you are disabled, find out what you qualify for. Social Security will be upfront and honest with you. You always see these, Motley Fool puts out a lot of stuff, and they don't call it Fool for nothing. They're trying to sell publications. You could be getting $4,000 and something a month Social Security benefits. Don't you believe it? It's just not true. You worked for a certain amount. There are all kinds of tricks, and you can find everything on YouTube or online in articles in how to make a strategy for Social Security. You can draw off of a husband's or wife's. You can wait and draw off your own, whichever is highest. I was under the situation where I was a homemaker most of my life, and I never claimed any income, even when I worked with Dennis. And they go by the last 10 years as to how much you're going to get, what your earnings were in the last 10 years, and mine were 0. So I think, like, if I picked my own, and they won't let you, I tried to get back onto disability myself, and they wouldn't allow it because my widow's benefit is higher. You will get whatever's higher. However, if you have a decent pension and spouse had a decent pension, you can pick one or the other. You could let yours build up while you use theirs that might be the lower one. Social Security will tell you everything. They'll tell you the ins and outs. As a matter of fact, when they called me to tell me what the situation was, they did say I would lose a major, because of my age, which was 63 in so many months. They go by your retirement age, and mine was 66.8, and I was only 63.6 or 7 at the time he died. And I got 84%, 83 or 84% of his, which was 965, and it was going to go up. But yeah, because his last 10 years were not big earning years. So there's all kinds of tricks, and you can look them all up. Social Security has a lot of publications right online. Just Google what you need to know. So if you're 60 and over, you can get a percentage of the spouse's Social Security amount. And that is even online as to what the percentages are. So expenses are really important. I looked at my last 3 bank statements because I paid everything through my debit card, my account, my checking. And that gives you a really good idea of your average bills. And you can also make a list of expenses you didn't need to make. What were they? How can you cut down on those things? What can you eliminate? And then you're going to get the true basic living expense, what you have to pay to live. Car insurance, mortgage payment or rent. Always, if you own a home, include repairs. Always put something aside in mind for repairs. What your car expenses are, what your grocery bill is, your insurances, whether it's life or a vehicle or home. You put everything down that are your expenses. And do you have more going out than coming in? You then have a problem, and that's the crisis. What can you surrender? I had to give up one car, and I kept the one that was still on the lease because it was newer. The payment was lower. And I surrendered one car, and then I surrendered all of my credit card. I gave up trying to pay. It just wasn't happening. The house was up for sale, and it wasn't selling. I would do yard sales with things that I had around the house, and things that I couldn't get to flea markets or antique shows. We had a lot of things left behind because he got sick while he was still working and collecting all that stuff together. So what can you sell? And can you earn anything? If you're not disabled or you're not too old, you may be able to get a job or work online, or you might have a talent, something you know how to do. Can you teach piano lessons? Can you do cooking classes at the local adult education centers? Can you work with the elderly? Or I was offered a job during COVID to just help out elderly at a center, but I had to wear a mask and I simply could not breathe. And I told them, there's just no way I can wear that mask. I would have liked to try. And I told them, what my physical ailments were, and they thought I'd be perfect for the job. But unfortunately, there was no way. I put those masks on and I get dizzy and feel like I'm going to faint. I'm not sure why. They say that's not supposed to happen, and they would just, lightweight cotton. I tried the paper. I can't do it. I just can't breathe with those, and they didn't have any N95s at the time. I don't know if those were any easier to breathe in. You can leave below in the comment if it is. So those are the points I wanted to make on retirement crisis, especially if you've lost the breadwinner. There's things you can do right now to just, I'm sure you're not You've probably heard this a million times before, but I'm just going over it. I'm just telling you what I did and making suggestions of how you can make your transition. It's a terrible time when you lose someone you love. You have all that mourning to do, and I'm going to talk more about that in another video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or just like would help me out. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bye.